So if you don't have much of a sense of humor about your car, you should probably go to a Fanboy site, because this is a comedy spoof about why import fans like me hate the Porsche 911 Turbo S. This poverty car wishes it could be a Subaru or a Honda or Toyota, but it's just not. So we're going to talk about all the shortcomings of this car. I'll start with the positive. With this front spoiler dropped like this, the ground clearance gets low enough to cause sufficient damage if you go over speed bumps or get too close to a curb like a car should. That's it. Now let's move to the negatives. So first let's talk about the wheels. 20-inch diameter. That's ridiculous. What is this, a farm tractor? No. All you need is a good set of 12-inch wheels so you're not wasting torque on this massive wheel. And then let's look at this poverty single lug. You can tell this car wasn't made for performance or aggressive driving. You need to have at least 4 lugs or even 5 like the big boys. I wouldn't trust this thing in a turn, would you? Didn't think so. Now let's check out this atrocious rear end. This is the spoiler in the highest position it'll go. If the spoiler isn't at least as high as the roof line, then it's completely worthless because the body of the car is just blocking it and you're not going to get any downforce off this spoiler. There's just no engineering behind this car. And one sticker, that's it. Look how much horsepower they left on the table by not filling the back window with stickers. That also lets people know how many suppliers are sponsoring us by selling us their products. And those sneaky Germans won't even let us see the engine. I'm not surprised though, we couldn't trust them in World War II, why should we now? Unlike the friendly Japanese, who let us see their engine and they share with us, and they allow us to put bright colored parts in there so everybody sees how fast it is. I wouldn't even be able to put any hood pins in this to lighten the latching mechanism. Ridiculous. The exhaust on this car is way too restrictive. It's wasting flow by going out in 4 tips. It should have one big tip, 4-inch minimum attached to a good Folgers exhaust for optimum performance. And the tips are black, not blue, so I can tell it's not tuned right. How do they get 4 tips anyway? 6-cylinder, 4 tips? Are they not even using 2 of the cylinders? Let's get inside the car for some more disappointments. Look at the silly tachometer right in the middle where nobody can see it. You need something really big mounted right off to the side in the steering column, right behind that steering wheel for visibility. Let's talk about the tranny, and I'm not talking about who you were hitting on at the club by accident last weekend. It has an automatic mode, but it also has a manual mode. But is it really manual mode? I don't see a clutch jumping out down here by my feet. It's still an auto, come on. And if it's not a real manual, how am I supposed to drive around in first gear bouncing off the rev limiter so everybody knows how much power is under the hood? And they know when they hear that I'm going to show them what time it is on the streets. The only way this thing's going to show anybody what time it is with that. This car is also all-wheel drive, which just adds a whole lot of weight to the car, and it just wastes all the torque going to the other axle. All the car really needs is a front axle, an engine, and a place for me to hang on when I hit the NOS button. Everything else is optional and just weighs you down. This radar detector might add a little bit of power because it's got more flashing lights on the inside, but it might keep me from getting pulled over. And if I don't get speeding tickets from cops, how are people going to know how much raw power this thing has and how much blatant disrespect for the law I have? It's my obligation as a racing authority to show all 12 of my Instagram followers that I not only have the power of this car, but I drive it like it is. Like that time I almost got tased by that cop for going 2 miles over, and brutal. At least it's got a backup camera in it so I can watch those C8 Corvettes I'm blowing off the road. Well, if I were in my car, not this one. Why do these seats have to be so low too? I'll barely be able to fit my 380 under that seat in case I gotta throw lead sideways if I'm on another racer's turf and things get ugly. And on the passenger side, a fire extinguisher? If I take some girl home from the bar, we can't even fit a bottle of Purple Passion under that seat now. That's even if I can get a girl to come back with me in this car. Seat like this, 0 room in the back, so cramped. My chances are pretty minimal even with my strong game. Because what girl's gonna want to get in this car anyway? Tired design from decades ago? Please. So I've heard these things are supposed to be fast, but with everything I've seen, I don't have my hopes very high. And really, How is a 6-cylinder going to be faster than a 4-cylinder anyway? Alright, let's see if this thing actually has any kick or not. Mommy, yeah, I want my participation trophy! Ugh. Not quite sure what happened there. Just cut that last part, please. Now there's a car. Remember, these brakes, they're not even real steel. They're some kind of plastic looking stuff either, so not feeling too good about that. I don't know about you, but I think I gotta change my shorts. With all these disappointments, I just can't see why anybody would choose this car over so many better options. All these design flaws, shortcomings in performance and handling, it's pretty obvious why Porsche has no racing history. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to learn more about how to enjoy amazing machines like this.